So the next topics. Now the next three topics are the fossae, the temporal fossa, then we will discuss the infratemporal fossa, and after that we'll discuss the pterygopalatine fossa, and then we will close for the day. Temporal fossa. This is this area shown in the green here. Let's trace its boundaries. So it is above and behind. It is demarcated by this dotted line that was simply the superior temporal line. So upper aspect it is the superior temporal line, and posterior aspect it is a superior temporal line. To be more accurate, it is technically the line of fusion of deep temporal fascia, the temporalis fascia. So the space it's closed by the fusion of the temporal temporalis fascia into the skull. So this is the enclosing space. So and that of course line of fusion is the temporal line, superficial temporal, superior temporal line. So where this, then in front there are the bones. There is the frontal bone right here and the zygomatic bone right here. And if we are able to look a little down, there will be maxillary bone. Let me show you here. So in the here you can see in the front there will be frontal bone, there will be frontal bone, there will be zygomatic bone, and there will be a little part of the maxillary bone also, but very little part. The major part will be the rest of the two bones, the zygomatic bone and the frontal bone. Below this part, the medial aspect and the lateral aspect, let's talk about that first. We have done above and behind, the front, the below, the roof, and just let's first do the roof and the floor. The roof in this case it's the medial wall. This is the the floor is the medial wall. This is the floor. The floor will consist of pterion. We talked about it in the skull in the first lecture, and the four bones that are around it: the frontal bone, parietal bone, squamous part, temporal bone, greater wing of sphenoid. And in between them, there is pterion. This is the part that is prone to fracture, and this is the part that demarcates the location of the anterior division of the middle meningeal artery that is passing just below it, and the breakage of this part will lead to the damage of middle meningeal artery and epidural hematoma, and this is the part that leads to the compression of prefrontal gyrus, the motor area, because the sylvian point, the point where the lateral sulcus joins the central sulcus, it's just beneath this pterion. This is about the floor, and the roof will be this fascia. The roof will be this fascia, the temporalis fascia, the deep fascia, that will be the roof. So we have done anterior, posterior, superior, medial, lateral, and we are left with below. We are left with the structure below. Let me, okay, let me give me a second. Okay, uh, I have a skull here, and let's remove the jaw. Let's remove the teeth, and let's remove the jaw. And okay, so we are left with skull. So this is temporal fascia. Oh, sorry, temporal fossa. We talked about the anterior wall. We talked about the medial wall containing four set of bones. These ones. Then we talked about the other superior, this line, posterior, this line, and we talked about lateral one non shown in the picture, and then we are left with inferior. Inferior is a little tricky. Inferior one, it consists of this opening. If we look at here from the below, you may be able to appreciate this line that is present right here, this line that is present right here. So at this line, you can see this line, the greater wing of sphenoid, it makes a very sharp angle. Below it, it is almost in a horizontal plane. Above it, it is like this. So this is this line, like this. So this line, the red line, that is the infratemporal crest. This is the greater wing of sphenoid in the temporal fossa, forming the floor of the temporal fossa. And here is the greater wing of sphenoid, the part that is making the roof of the infratemporal fossa. So this is the one thing. The other thing that we can see here, it's this zygomatic arch. Let us get somewhere here. So medially, it is labeled by the infratemporal crest. Laterally, it is labeled by the zygomatic arch, and between them there is an opening that helps for the free communication between temporal fossa here and the infratemporal fossa there. So infratemporal fossa here and the infratemporal fossa there, like this. It will come here. So this is about the inferior margin. So this space, this is the inferior end of the infratemporal temporal fossa, this area. So let's move back to the presentation. Okay, so inferior one, the below, zygomatic arch on the lateral aspect, infratemporal crest on the medial aspect, and opening between the two that makes the direct communication between the two fossae, and that is the opening through which the temporalis muscle is coming down to get attached to the coronoid process. Contents between the bones and the fascia, it consists of temporalis muscles and the vessels and nerves that are supplying them. So it consists of temporalis muscle. It is containing a pair of temporal artery. It is containing a pair of temporal nerves. There is an artery coming from the superficial temporal artery. This one shown from coming from outside. To be clear, these arteries coming from the temporal, these are branches of maxillary arteries. So there is an artery coming from the outside. This is the branch of superficial temporal artery. This is called middle temporal branch, middle temporal artery. And there is also zygomaticotemporal nerve that is coming outside from zygomaticotemporal foramen. If I hope you remember the zygomaticotemporal zygomaticotemporal canal and zygomaticotemporal foramen. We talked about zygomaticotemporal here in the orbit. The going to the face is the zygomaticofrontal. Going to the back, temporal fossa is zygomaticotemporal, and we can trace it back all the way back here. You can see right there. Yeah, this one. This is the zygomaticotemporal opening that includes the zygomaticotemporal artery and zygomaticotemporal nerve exiting back into the temporal fossa. On the surface, on the superficial, on the fascia, in the superficial fascia, the superficial temporal fascia, there are running structures that includes the two of the five branches of facial nerve, that is the temporal branch, that is the zygomatic branch, and in the back the sensory nerve not shown in this picture here includes the auriculotemporal nerve, and of course the accompanying artery, that is superficial temporal artery and vein. So these are the structures that are crossing the superficial temporal arch, and these are the structures that are adhered to the fascia superficially, and these are the structures that will get damaged when there is a fracture right here or a surgery right here of the zygomatic arch. So these are the structures that are passing superficial to the temporal fossa. That brings us to the end of the temporal fossa.